discusses and performs songs that tell a story.
My grandmother was a slave in Virginia. She, I guess, yes, she was around 18 years old when the Civil War finished. And I remember she and so were all her friends. And in my little home in Pennsylvania, a little hometown outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, they used to gather, she and her friends, in our backyard every evening or every other evening, especially in the warm summer nights. And they began to tell of their various experiences on their plantations. And if I had known when I was a youngster listening to these old people talk about their experiences as slaves on the plantation, known then that I was going to earn my living in later years as a lecturer all around the world, telling about this same era and singing the songs that they sang, I could have had a wonderful folk history. But I didn't as children, though we were interested a while and we didn't. But they would talk and tell these various experiences, and it would invariably, their sessions invariably ended with the most gruesome ghost stories you ever heard in your life. Oh, they were blood-curdling ghost stories. And then we had a little cool spring. Yeah, they called it Cool Spring, as I remember, about 100 yards from my house, way up in the side of the hill. And as soon as they get through talking about these ghost stories, Grandma would say, "Jester, step over to the spring, son, and get us a bucket of water." I said, "Not this evening, Grandma, not this evening." I've had my little anatomy, patted so many times for refusing to go because I was frightened. I was always frightened at night, and especially after those ghost stories. And so when I grew up and began to write music and write stories, I remembered one of these stories, and this is the one we'll do now. It's called "That Old House is Haunted." In the North, where a house that is infested with ghosts or eerie characters is called a haunted house. In the South, they call it a haunted house, And in Oklahoma, so in Appalachia, they call it hainted. I've worked with people who say it was a haunted house. It's the same ghost, And so we call it a haunt in this particular song. That old house is haunted. Down in the town where I was born, there was a haunted house. And all the folks that passed that way would scoot by like a mouse. Now, Captain John, who owned the house, had died some years before. But neighbors claimed they'd seen him there standing in the door.
That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. And I ain't going there no more.
Every night the strangest sounds would come from out that way. Those hands would carry on all night long till roosters crowed for day. Old Deacon Brown was bold and brave, at least that's what folks all said. He often claimed he'd like to talk and mingle with the dead. So a prize was offered to the man, he might be black or white, who'd stay there in the captain's house so folks could sleep at night. Well, Deacon Brown was bold, we said, and so he promised us that he would stay out there a week and stop those hands so fuss.
That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. And I ain't going there no more.
Now the first night all was going swell till long about 1 or 2. Then pretty soon a little cat come trotting into view. "Well, what a pretty little cat," said the deacon sort of slow. But as he looked down at the cat, that thing began to grow. Till after a while, 'twas 3 feet tall. Deacon wiped his cheek and then looked around to find the door, and the cat began to speak. "I wonder where could Martin be? He's late again tonight. If he don't come in pretty soon, there's sure gonna be a fight." Come on!
That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. And I ain't going there no more.
Well, that scared Deacon most to death, but he was fool, all right, 'cause he sat there and held his ground from then to broad daylight. But next night, honey, things were worse 'cause 4 cats come this time. The largest one was solid black, the others white as lime. Old Deacon Brown sat there just so, the sweat all running down. Too weak to move 'cause on each side these cats was laying round. Ain't none of y'all seen on Martin yet, announced the cat in black. He told us all to stay right here and wait until he got back.
That old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. I said that old house is haunted, and I ain't going there no more.
Well, the deacon buttoned up his coat and then reached for his hat. And as he passed out through the door, he spoke back to the cat. Now, I don't know who Martin is, nor how soon he'll be on. But you cats tell Martin when he comes that I've been here, but I'm gone.
Yes, he's gone, 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 gone. Deacon Brown and gone. 'Cause that old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. I said that old house is haunted, and I ain't going there no more. 'Cause that old house is haunted. That old house is haunted. I said that old house is haunted, and I ain't going there no more.
Most music lovers the world over are aware of the charm and fascination of the songs of the black American folk singers and slaves. But very few are familiar with the fact that they are very high among the world's greatest storytellers. In Africa, young children at a very early age are trained by specialists in storytelling, and they're trained to memorize the history of the tribes, great battles, great athletic contests, and so forth. And they memorize this so that they can tell, because there was an absence of writing. Most of the tribes didn't have writing, and they had to remember all the historical events that took place in the tribe years and years back. And so a little child, for instance, they were so good that a little child, 9 years old, even if he stubbed his toe, they loved folk stories. And if he stubbed his toe, he would gather his contemporaries around him and all the elders too. And he would tell them how he was running from a lion. And he got away from the lion and he stubbed his toe as a leopard came after him and so forth. And everybody loved it. They knew he was lying, but they just loved it because he was telling it in such a wonderful fashion. And he had such vivid imagination, you see. And so this came over, when we came over as slaves to this country, we brought that art of storytelling. You have your Uncle Remus stories. They were the stories of the blacks in Africa. Br'er Rabbit in the South, the story, Br'er Rabbit was Br'er Hyena, and Brother Bear was Brother Lion, different ones, you see. They used the animals that were around the plantation. And so in this story, we are talking about Simon the Fisherman. This is a wonderful folk story by my friend Dr. Eva Jesse. We're talking about in the South, it was a taboo, a very grave sin to go fishing or hunting on Sunday. And so we're talking now about a man, Simon, who dared break this rule and go fishing on Sunday. Simon the Fisherman. One Sunday morning, once upon a time, there was a man named Simon. And he lived way down yonder, behind a sycamore tree, way down in Georgia. And that man Simon just would go fishing on Sunday, mind you. That's right. And this is what happened to that man Simon. One Sunday morning, it was kind of cloudy. Looked like rain. Simon dug him some bait, got his fishing pole, and went strutting on down to the bayou. And there wasn't a sound anywhere around. Till after a while, a voice called up out of the dark water.
Throw in your hook, Simon. Throw in your hook, Simon. Throw in your hook, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon throw it in his hook, and something yank on the line motion. I pull Simon off the bank. And then the voice called again.
Pull me out, Simon. Pull me out, Simon. Pull me out, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon gave a great big pull, and out come the biggest fish you have ever seen. And that fish looked Simon straight in the eye and commanded him,
Take me home, Simon. Take me home, Simon. Take me home, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon took him home. And then that fish said,
Now clean me, Simon. Now clean me, Simon. Now clean me, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon cleaned him, though he was most nigh scared to death. See, the fish had him hypnotized and he couldn't leave him. And then that fish said,
Cut me up, Simon. Cut me up, Simon. Cut me up, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon cut him up. And then that fish said,
Salt and pepper me, Simon. Salt and pepper me, Simon. Salt and pepper me, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon salted him and peppered him. And then that fish said,
Now cook me, Simon. Now cook me, Simon. Now cook me, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon cooked and he cooked and he cooked. And that fish filled every dish in the house. Oh, Simon began to get scared sure enough then. And then that fish said,
Now eat me, Simon. Now eat me, Simon. Now eat me, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon ate and he ate and he ate. And he ate and he ate and he ate until he couldn't eat no more. Oh, Simon was a miserable critter. And then what you reckon that fish said?
Drink some water, Simon. Drink some water, Simon. Drink some water, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon drank some water. And then what you reckon that fish said?
Now swell up, Simon. Now swell up, Simon. Now swell up, Simon. Land, 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 oh, the land goes, Simon.
So Simon swore, and he swore, and he swore.